video is Research Process 2, Documenting Sources. In this video, we will be focusing on why you must document your sources, when you must do so, and how to do it. In the social sciences and humanities, APA is the usual method of citing and referencing sources. However, always check with your professor regarding the required style of citation and referencing. Every field uses a different style. APA stands for American Psychological Association. In English courses, you may have been taught to use MLA style. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. In history, you may have been taught to use footnotes or endnotes. This is called Chicago Manual of Style or simply Chicago style. And there are many others for math, chemistry, engineering, law, and so on. Today, we will only look at APA style. Because the style is very precise, make sure you get a good style guide to help you along. This video will only provide a very brief overview of some common examples. So, which are more important, citations or references? Both, of course, are important. Often students will make the mistake of assuming that a reference list is all you need in a research essay. This is not true. Research essays require both in-text citations within the body of the essay as well as a list of references at the end of the essay. The difference is that citations appear throughout the essay. Citations are included in the sentence near the information to which the citation refers, placed within parentheses or brackets. The reference list is a list of all the sources you've cited in your essay. Each source is listed with full bibliographic information in alphabetical order by last name. Both are equally important. The citation tells the reader where a particular piece of information or an idea comes from, but it does so at the point where the information or idea is included in the essay, as you can see in this example. The reference list, however, appears at the end of the essay. It provides all the information needed for a reader to find the original source. So it includes all the bibliographic information such as the publishing information or the name of the journal in which an article appears. The only sources to appear in a reference list are those that you have cited in the essay. Remember these back here. So citations and references are important because they not only tell the reader where you got your information, but they also give credit to the original author. Not providing citations and references is considered plagiarism. Plagiarism is not simply copying someone else's words, but also taking someone else's ideas or other work without giving credit for it. So within the body of the essay, whenever you refer to an idea or a piece of information originally written by someone else, you must provide an in-text citation at the point at which you refer to it. There are a few ways to introduce someone else's idea or piece of information and provide the citation. You can include the author's name as part of the sentence, then provide the year of publication in parentheses. You can include the title of the source, in this case Skim, followed by parentheses containing the author's name and date of publication. You can list more than one author in one citation, separated by a semicolon. Finally, if you have a direct quote rather than a paraphrase sentence, you must include a page reference. Note the details of how to list sources in the references list. For journal articles, a comma follows the last name or the surname. There's a space after the period before the next initial. The second author's name, if there is one, is also listed with the surname first, and then the date of publication goes after the author's names. The title of the article follows the date. It does not have quotation marks. That's MLA style, not APA style. It is not in italics. You place a period at the end of the title. The article title is followed by the name of the journal, which is italicized. The title of the journal is followed by a volume number, in this case number 35, and then issue number inside brackets, if there is one. The final set of numbers is the page numbers of the article, from the first page to the final page of the article. After the pages is a period, which is followed by, if there is one, a DOI number. This original source does not have a DOI number associated with it. That's why it's got the X's there. But if there is a DOI number, it's placed at the very end, as you can see, and there's no period at the end of the DOI number. Not all articles will have a DOI number, as this is a relatively recent innovation to help track digital articles. In fact, DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier. Now, for newspapers and popular magazines, you must adapt the format used for academic journals. You give the full date for newspapers and magazines with the year first. Give the newspaper or magazine title as it appears on the cover, and then you put PP before page numbers. And you note that P for singular pages and PP for multiple pages. If there's no author given, you do not use anonymous in place of the author's name. Instead, you just give no author, and you list the source alphabetically by the first word of the article title, in this case under R for rural. For electronic sources, the retrieval information should start with retrieved. Sometimes it's followed by the date. It's always followed by the web address or the database name. Ensure that the website address is complete enough to direct the reader to the information that you used. In other words, you want to make sure that the URL directs the reader to the document, not to some other place on the website. The URL should not be a hyperlink. So what I mean by that is that the reader shouldn't be able to click on it and go to the resource. End the reference with a period unless a website address or URL is used. There's no period after the URL. And as mentioned, some documents may include a DOI number, in which case you should include it at the end of the reference, again with no period at the end of it. So for websites, you treat the title of the site like an article title, capitalize only the first word and the word after the colon if there is one. You give the URL or other path to get to the website. If no date is available, use ND in brackets. If no author is identified, whether it's an individual author or a corporate author, begin the reference with the title of the document. Okay. For books, you treat the author's names exactly as for periodicals or journal articles. So you put the surname first, followed by the initials. Use the copyright date, which you can usually find on the second page after the title page in a book. So you use the copyright date for the date of publication. The title of the book is in italics, followed by the city where it was published and the name of the publisher. Note the punctuation. There's periods after each main component, and a colon separates the place of publishing and the publisher. Now, articles in edited books start out like journal articles. No quotation marks are used around the titles of the title of the chapter. The editors of the book are listed immediately following the chapter title. Note that the word in precedes the name or names. Here the names are listed with the first initial followed by the surname followed by eds, EDS period, which is short for editors. Note if there's only one editor, of course, you use ed without the S. The ed or eds is placed inside parentheses and is followed by a comma. Then the title of the book. Inside the next set of brackets is the edition number, if there is one. Then the page numbers for the chapter. Again, this is the span of page numbers, not simply the page numbers that from your citation. Finally, the publishing information is given. The location of publication, followed by a colon, followed by the publisher's name and a period. Now, let's test your skill. Here's a scenario, a situation. You are writing a memo to a fellow researcher about a problem with a ski hill snowpacker. You've been given a source, How would you fit the quote given into a sentence with an in-text citation? So pause this video for a minute while you try composing a couple of different ways of doing so. There are different possible answers to the question just given. One is to include the author's name as part of the sentence as the quote is being introduced. So, however, here's a quotation, or here's the example. However, John Cruikshank says that, quote, the Motorola 2N60713A Triac has been found especially durable in outdoor applications over a wide temperature range. End quote, bracket, date of publication, 2002, comma, P for page number, period, 122, end bracket, and then the period. Note the punctuation at the end of the sentence. The end quotation marks are placed after the last word of the quote, followed by a space, then the parenthetical citation, page number where the quote is found, close bracket, and finally the period. In the next example, there's the circle. In the next example, the author's name is not used in the sentence. Therefore, it must be included in the citation. Finally, if you paraphrase the information rather than using a direct quote, you do not need to include the page numbers in the citation. You only need page numbers when you have a direct quotation. So in this video, we have discussed why citations and references are important, as well as how to format them correctly following APA style. Because there are many different ways to cite and reference information, always check with your professor as to which format you are required to use, and always have a good style guide close at hand. Thank you for listening.